These old photos tell the story of policemen, firemen. For many years, they were male-dominated professions, but that's all changing here and elsewhere. 19-year-old Jenny Reed is training to be both a Milwaukee firefighter and emergency medical technician, the only woman in the class that graduates in September.
Well, I came from a background of firefighters. My dad and my grandfather were both in the profession, and in high school, that's where I came out of. I got the opportunity to be a part of this. I started as an explorer on some other departments and got some basic training there and got a feel for what the job was all about, and I just loved it. I knew I didn't want to be sitting behind a desk all day. And
only 4.4% of the department's sworn personnel are women, but Jenny says she didn't really hear comments that it's a man's job.
You know, not really. As a matter of fact, I had my father encouraging me, pushing me, saying, hey, this might be something you'd like to look into and check out. So, not too much. I mean, I've had a few people say, is it hard? Is it hard? I mean, physically, yes. So, from that aspect, but other than that, I've really not had any, people say you shouldn't be doing this or anything.
Fire Lieutenant Deb Weber joined the department 15 years ago. Like Jenny, she was exposed early on to firefighting.
Well, I was born and raised in the city of Milwaukee. I lived on 9th and Hayes. Engine 31 is on 8th and Hayes. I used to always go up to the fire station. I remember my first tour in kindergarten. I remember when I turned 7 years old, and back then you couldn't cross the streets. So we used to play catch with the firefighters back and forth across the street. And it just so happened that as I got older, I played baseball with their daughters. And I always told them that I wanted to come on this job, and they always would laugh at me. When I did finally come on the job, I ended up working with them. All of them are retired today, but they were very nice to me, and I still know them all, and I still talk to them. I was in school in Oregon. I have a degree in EMS from them, and even out there, it was always, this is a man's job. You can do some EMS work, but firefighting's always been a man's job. Did you hear it sometimes today? Sometimes. Not as much as you did 15 years ago.
Both women say the physical challenges may be greater for women, but also push them to succeed.
Physically, it's very demanding, especially the training academy. Fires are demanding, EMS work is demanding. It takes a very different individual to become a firefighter. And I think sometimes the women give it more than men do. They give 100%, 110% because they know that they're being watched every day and they want to prove themselves. I don't care if you have 15 years on, 20 years on, or a new probationer, the women are always given everything.
The coordinator of Milwaukee's Emergency Medical Services is the highest-ranking woman in the fire department. Deputy Chief Gloria Murasky joined the department 20 years ago after serving as a firefighter and EMT in Greenfield, where her father was on the force.
When I was in high school thinking about what I wanted to do with the rest of my life, I decided that I would like to be a paramedic, although the city of Greenfield didn't have paramedics at the time. And my dad's response was something like, in order to be a paramedic, you have to be an EMT. To be an EMT, you have to be a firefighter. And to be a firefighter, you have to be a male. I said, okay. So I think I kind of took that on as a challenge.
She met the challenge, and her father is now very supportive. Murasky was hired for the paramedic program when she joined the department in 1981. Since 1986, all new recruits are trained as firefighters and emergency medical technicians. Some changes were made to accommodate women as firefighters.
I think what they really did is took a good hard look at the training program and what was necessary, what was true to the job, and what was just there because it was there since the beginning of the department because it sounded like a good idea. And what they, I think, evolved from it is an excellent training program that truly turns out qualified individuals that can do the job. As I said, it's a little bit challenging, but just mainly because people didn't know what to expect. And once the first class of women were in the firehouses and people got used to it and found out that it wasn't going to be anything real different, it kind of went more smoothly after that. The greatest challenges were 20 years ago, just the initial breaking in the department of getting used to having women on the department, and that there are challenges now, but I don't see them as great. It's more an accepted practice that you're not breaking new ground anymore. It's still a matter of proving yourself, but I think everybody coming on the job does that anyway.
The police department also offers women opportunities in what were once considered male jobs. You'll find women on the department's specialized mounted horse patrol and 2 with hard hats on Harleys. Rebecca Carpenter, on the force for 11 years, has been patrolling on a police motorcycle for 5.
Nobody really discouraged me because I was a woman. My parents were both strongly against it, but that has everything to do with the fact that they're caring parents and don't want to see their child in harm's way, and not much to do with the fact that I'm female. I was raised to believe that a woman can do anything that a guy can do. I, believe it or not, find I get a strange reaction far less often today than 5 years ago when I came to the cycles. It's not for everybody. It's a challenge. More challenging sometimes than you can probably imagine. You have to have that in mind. If somebody's interested in it, sure, go for it. You have to be a certain kind of person, though. Getting paid to ride a Harley, I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. It's a good assignment.
Deputy Chief of Police Monica Ray is the highest-ranking woman in the department. Originally, she wanted to be a lawyer.
And I graduated from Marquette and worked at Sojourner Truth House, first shelter for battered women in Milwaukee, and then ended up at the district attorney's office. And my role there, I came in contact with lots of police officers from the city of Milwaukee. And I actually, because my experience was based on what I had seen growing up, and I came to Milwaukee right out of high school, so my experience with police, very limited, from a small town in Indiana. And I actually did believe that it was a man's job. I had never actually met a female police officer. Now we're talking back in the early 80s. And I started meeting police officers, and some of them were women.
Those officers and others convinced her to give it a try, and she joined the force in 1984. She was named Deputy Chief in 1998. Women now make up 17.3% of sworn personnel in the police department, and Deputy Chief Ray says they are in much more visible jobs than 20 years ago.
I believe women can do this job just as well as a man, any job. I think it depends on the individual. I think that this is still, no matter where you go in this country, it's still a predominantly male occupation. There are still some areas that women have a difficult time, I think, convincing people that they're capable of doing the work. Since I've been in charge of Special Operations Bureau, which includes the Tactical Enforcement Unit, we had our first female supervisor in the Tactical Enforcement Unit, which is one of the most rigorous areas in policing. And I was very proud of that. I'd like to see more women. We've made efforts since Chief Jones has been in office, an attempt to expand our recruiting, not only for women, but just diversity across the board. So I think it's a matter of increasing the visibility so young girls can see that you have that option. And that's what it's about. It's showing, and I have a daughter who's 13, and I don't know if she would consider being a police officer, but I certainly encourage her to consider any field. I think women can do anything. My mother would disagree, but I believe that women can do anything. So it's about increasing our visibility so little girls know that the options are out there.
Women in non-traditional jobs in the city's Department of Public Works were recognized recently. 9% of the women in DPW are in non-traditional jobs, above the 6% national average, but the city hopes to do even better.
Not only is it the right thing to do to have women have access to the non-traditional jobs in our workforce, but it's also good for the taxpayers and citizens of Milwaukee, because that way you have a better chance of having high-quality service when you have a broader pool of people to choose from.
8 women who represent all the divisions within Public Works, such as sanitation, electrical, forestry, and plant maintenance, were profiled in a video produced to examine their occupations and find out why they like what they're doing.
About 400 women work for the City of Milwaukee's Department of Public Works. Many of them hold non-traditional jobs. They're engineers, mechanics, and electricians. This video looks at 8 of those non-traditional positions, at what they are and how they're done.
The honest to God truth is when I was a child, I loved helping my dad fix and repair things around the house. I used to get in a lot of trouble for getting into the garage at home and taking stuff apart that I probably shouldn't have taken apart. Lawnmowers, you know, stuff like that. Dad would go to use it and, uh-oh, it doesn't work. I am a plant maintenance mechanic with Milwaukee Water Works. I enjoy working with my hands. I enjoy getting dirty. It's fun. What we do in the water plant is extremely important. We keep the city in water. Without water, none of us would survive. We do basic routine maintenance. Some of it is troubleshooting if there's a problem. Majority of it is yearly maintenance work that's done on everything. Our raw water pumps are just huge. They're humongous. They are big. They're bigger than I am. I love to take things apart that don't work and put them back together and stand back and watch them roll. That's great. I love it. I love it.
I'm a driver loader for the Department of Public Works Sanitation. I drive a garbage truck for the Department of Public Works Sanitation, and I pick up the truck in the morning, go to the route, pick up my labor, and we start working approximately 6:30 in the morning. What we do is important because it helps keep the city clean. I like working outdoors and seeing people and communicating with citizens. I wouldn't want to work inside. I just love the fresh air and all of that comes with it, the sunshine, the rain, everything. And the pay is great, the benefits are great, the environment is great. You know, working with people, different people all the time, I love it. I wouldn't trade it for the world. I love it.
What we do here is very important because we are monitoring the water supply for the entire city of Milwaukee and the suburbs. I am a water plant operator in charge. I work for the city of Milwaukee Linwood Water Filtration Plant. What I enjoy most about my job is the freedom. I am in charge of the plant, which means that I have to walk around, I have to check the plant. In addition to that, I also work on the computer. I help do chemical tests up in the lab. So the freedom is great. I love it. My advice for a young woman looking for a job anywhere in a traditional male job is don't give up, don't be afraid, and as long as you do the job and do your best, you will be respected. Our goal here is to make sure that the drinking water for everyone in this city is safe, and we do take that very seriously. This is great for me because I'm always moving, I'm always doing something, and it's never the same 2 days in a row, never. It's just wonderful.
I am a field investigator for the Distribution Water Department. We troubleshoot for any water problem. We do all broken mains, fire hydrants. If you get any calls, I'm flushing a hydrant out by Linwood. 10-4. Our job is important because we have to make sure that water is getting to thousands of homes in the city of Milwaukee. I get satisfaction from my job because I think I'm like a problem solver. Anytime I can go in and solve a problem, it makes me feel good.
I'm an electrician with the City of Milwaukee, Department of Public Works, Buildings and Fleet, and the Communications Division. I install the phone systems for the different city departments, the police, the libraries, health department, fire department. Well, you need to be able to work with your hands, and you need to be able to think and troubleshoot and follow logical thought processes. My job's important now because everybody's using phones and everybody's got a computer on their desk. Everybody needs to have their wiring done. Everybody needs to have that working for them, and everybody wants it. I enjoy my work very much because I'm able to go in and lay out a job and from start to finish, pull the cable, install the patch panels, punch everything down, and it looks good. And everybody comes in and says, wow, you did a good job on that. That looks really nice. I mean, I get an immense amount of satisfaction from what I do. I really enjoy, coming onto a site and determining what they need and then fixing it and walking away, and everybody's happy, and I'm happy.
I am a parking checker with the City of Milwaukee. I ticket meters, I ticket abandoned autos, I ticket cars that are parked over time, and the most valuable part in some people's eyes is that I go to private property and ticket cars that are picking up spots that belong to somebody else. I like some of the detective work you get to do by trying to figure out who the owner of a car is before you tow it and how to identify a vehicle. I love when I have a lost tourist. It's nice to be able to be helpful to them and really talk up our city. And it's nice to sell the city. I just recently took an advancement, so I am now a lead parking checker, which is pretty much a team leader position. I'm enjoying that very much right now. I feel at home here. I want to stay here. I'm not looking to, well, what am I going to do next year for a better job? I want to be here and I want to stay. So yes, it's a career.
I am an engineer with the Milwaukee Water Works, and I specifically work in their water engineering division. The water engineering division is responsible for putting together the program for new water mains for the city of Milwaukee. Well, in high school, I wasn't really sure what I wanted to be. I was strong in math and science, and my counselors in high school kind of guided me towards a technical career. There are many opportunities to advance within the Department of Public Works. I never feel that I can't be whatever I want to be within the department. What I enjoy about what I do now is helping customers get a product that they deserve, and that is a high-quality water from the Milwaukee Water Works. And if they're not getting that water, I want to do something about it.
I've been with the city about 9 years now. I started in as an arborist, then I became a forestry crew leader. I would say the best part of working in forestry is just the love of the trees and the shrubs and the greenery. It just brings out the best in people. People just stop and say the boulevards look beautiful, or you're making a difference. And that's what we're trying to do here in the city of Milwaukee. We're trying to make a difference in people's lives, aesthetically, soften everything around you, and make our environment something a little bit better.
The Department of Public Works is a complex operation. The jobs are dynamic, the responsibilities demanding. In many ways, the Department of Public Works is unique. It offers opportunities, challenges, and the chance to make Milwaukee a better city.